Hey, fire signs, I hope that you had a good 2021. We are going to be taking a look at your overall themes for the year 2022. Before I get into my card specifics, I wrote down some notes on what you could expect in general. So the fire signs in my case applies to sun, moon, ascendant / rising, or your Venus sign. So this year might be a little bit crazier. You're going to be given the chance to go through a difficult though transformative experience in order to arrive at a period of harvest and ecstatic celebration. I want you to think of climbing up to a mountain summit from the valley below it. So, if you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, you can, or the last time I checked, you could go for tours, and it was kind of fun to see the tourists on their donkeys and their horses down the valley below, right? And that was from one of the observational decks at the tops of the Grand Canyon. So I want you to have that kind of imagery, right? Like, how are you going to get from all the way at the bottom of the Grand Canyon to the very top on the observational deck of the Grand Canyon? You can't cheat with a Jeep or anything like that. You're going to have to climb. Okay? So I want to take a look at general or more specific themes within that context. Spirit is indicating the Wildwood deck. There are no reversals in the Wildwood deck. Its messages are specific, succinct, and sometimes blunt enough that reversals are not needed. They're almost like oracle cards in some ways, but still very, very close to the tarot. I recommend them for folks who vibe with these cards, right? Spirit says, let's lay them out 3 at a time. Protecting something precious and young this year. Absolutely not ready to stand up to anything shaky on its own feet. Very, very young. So I watched a video of a stoat the other day catching a rabbit. These tiny little things will go after their prey with precision. Like, it's amazing. They zero in on their prey, and they can kill rabbits that are considerably bigger than them, right? So this is the Page of Wands, traditionally. And when you think of the stoat, and feel free to take a look at some videos of how these interesting little animals hunt, you're being asked to go after something with laser-focused precision. There is a new action here that you're going to need to be a little bit dogged in order to get this. But for a fire sign, that might not be too difficult. You might have to reach a little bit more than you're accustomed to. And then we have the High Priestess. So you are absolutely, or the Seer, you should absolutely be tapping into spirit, into ancestor, while you protect this new venture that you're going after. This is going to be a spirit-led venture. The best way to keep this safe is to make this a spirit-led venture. Spirit reminded me to give you folks a sound bath before we go any further. I'll remember to do that at the beginnings of readings in the future, I hope. Okay, So along with protection, we're again under rocks. Do you see this? We've got young entities, a young animal and a young human under rocks. And in this case, we're waiting out the storm. This is endurance. The Five of Pentacles. Now, I got this in the water sign reading, and theirs was in reverse. That was about going in for help, not waiting out the storm. In your case, you may be asked to wait out the storm. Let's take a look at your context. Okay. Wait out the storm because this is your true north. And I note that there's a nicely sized fire here for us fire signs. I've got my fire sign of moon, right? So I'm applying this to myself as well. This is a divinely appointed venture, whatever you're going through. If that's a family, if that's a new business venture, if that's a new career, you're being asked to go through a difficult period in order to get through, again, get to that ecstatic period of celebration. Follow your true north. Connect with your spirit guides. Connect with your ancestors. They're not going to lead you wrong here. One more. Okay, this is the Hermit. I also saw this in the water sign reading. At the end of this period, if you go through this with spirit, you make this a spirit-led venture, either with family, with all your new ventures, okay? We have, yes, the new venture right here. You can become a teacher, right? You might have to work alone for a little bit. I do see we've got 1, 2, 3 lonely figures here. They're not in groups. So this is going to be a time period where you kind of need to work alone. There might be some neat people that come up beside you along your journey, but otherwise you're going to be learning, working, getting through this storm, not totally by yourself, without other humans. You're going to be with spirit. You're going to be with ancestors. You are very strongly encouraged, in fact, to go along with your spirit guides and ancestors through this process. Study the heck out of whatever it is you're doing, right? This talks to me about being able to sit down and study for a long time, possibly, and if that resonates you, and by the way, this reading may not resonate with all the fire signs out there, and that's a-okay. It may resonate with some other folks, okay? Okay, Two of Stones. Got that in the water reading too. So challenge is going to be, I do see some consistent themes even across like polar opposite signs, right? Water and fire are polar opposite, but you guys have some consistencies between the two. Maybe it'd be good to do some cross-watching. I don't know. If you've got a water sign person in your life, this might be a good time to do that. We got 7 and 7 together. That's going to be about moving forward. That's going to be the Chariot, right? So right here we've got an archer who's got their prey in sight. They're moving quickly, like that stoat, right? Like that page of bows. We've got a lot of fire energy in here, and that's something that I like to see in this kind of reading is, are we going to be able to get through this? And I think that we might be able to, and with spirit, most definitely. There is going to be a challenge, and it might be more intense for some people and less of a challenge for other folks. Because again, with the Chariot, I mean, or in this case, with the hunter, she's probably going to get these rabbits right here, right? That may be exactly what she's hunting. So I don't feel like for the archer, when they've got the newest, the best bows available, right? This particular card is about getting rid of the bows that are broken, right? Here we've got a broken one on the ground, and we've got, it looks like, 6 new unstrung bows that are getting ready to be used, right? So I see actually a bunch of resources. I see a bunch of internal energy Now, the word that came out was about to come out was injury. So for some of you folks, an injury might be part of this challenge, right? You're the kind of person to go, 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 right? You're a very energetic kind of individual, and then you're kind of being asked to pull over, right? Well, this archer may not be able to immediately get these rabbits. They may have to chase for a little bit before they actually get these rabbits. And that's what the hunt is all about. And again, I suspect the fire signs will be able to enjoy this. No more from the wildwood. Let us move on to the uncertain oracle. The uncertain oracle was made during the original COVID-19 lockdown last year in the United States, I believe, or it was made around that time when people were still having to stay in lockdown. Fantastic oracle. I strongly recommend it for anybody. You don't need an instruction book. It doesn't come with one, by the way, but you really don't need an instruction book. If you work intuitively, this is going to be amazing for you. We have merging with something or somebody. A fractured merge. Interesting. So there's something about the next winter solstice. For some of you folks, this may be the summer solstice. There's going to be a break in some relationships, possibly. There could be a breakaway. You could break away from some relationships. You could break away from some habits. You could break away from your career, from a business that maybe wasn't serving you well. Spirit, would you like another deck? So your challenge at this point may be coming at some already kind of energetic times of like higher energy times of the year, specifically at solstice. The challenge may be that you have to break up with something or somebody that you kind of didn't expect. You didn't expect this to end. And Spirit is absolutely saying, like I said with the water signs, let that stuff go. Another phrase that Spirit would like to pass on is rejection is Spirit's protection. And I know that there's another, like, it's God's protection, right? But we can generalize it for Spirit. Rejection is Spirit's protection. There may be some high energy times that expose some flaws that you didn't necessarily see. Fractures, small cracks that you may have been avoiding in your relationships where you have merged energies. I hope all the best for you this year. I feel like the fire signs are pretty well equipped to go through this year. Don't be afraid to reach out to therapy is what I'm going to say to every single person on these reads for the overall themes this year. Therapy isn't for 100% every single human on planet Earth, but it's going to work beautifully for a lot of folks. Please do not be afraid to reach out to a qualified, a licensed therapist if you need any assistance getting through this year. but I feel for a lot of folks, properly containing your fire here to give you warmth and not like blow you out of your shelter, for instance, making this a spirit-led venture, right? Follow your follow your shining star, right? This might be a really, really amazing year for you. You might like to take lots of pictures to memorialize this year, okay? Have a great 2022. I'll see you soon, fire signs.